what sort of impact did you have in because you started basically from ground zero,
Yeah.
in Myanmar. There was no infrastructure to this whatsoever. So you were there for a total of how long? Like a couple of years?
I was there for 9 years actually, but the
Nine
company,
years.
yeah, we were
Shit.
running for about 5 years before the coup.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how did what was your progress from, ground zero when you started to when you left?
Yeah, definitely challenging for sure. I mean, I said that there's 7 million people in Yangon, and we were working out of the largest landfill, both in Yangon and in
Mm.
all of Myanmar. So they were taking in when I first started, they were taking in about 800 tons of waste every day, and plastic accounts for about 10% of that. And
Wow.
it's about doubled, I think, now. And plastic bags, they're really light, and so, I mean, it's even less by weight. It's going to be less than 10%, but it's such a blight. We ended up being able to recycle 4 million pounds or 1,800 metric tons of discarded plastic
Wow.
bags. Yeah, and we were dealing with very end of life. So the plan was actually before the coup, and before the coup, yeah, we were trying to get as close to the first waste generator as possible, so at the household level. That
Mm.
requires so much investment, and that's why I think recycling and waste management in general is so complex. I mean, the root cause of it is that we just don't have enough infrastructure on the ground, that physical infrastructure to manage it.
Right.
Don't have enough trucks, don't have enough people to deal with it, and so it creates a lot of inefficiencies. I'm personally having to go and collect it myself. Yeah, and as I said, it requires a lot of capex and opex, and with the coup happening, a lot of those
Mm.
financial access avenues really dried up, and so it became kind of inviable. Unviable to continue on that business. But we
Right.
we were working with like 60 different aggregators. We had a total of 250 waste collectors that we were working with. So we're impacting like close to 1,000 livelihoods, if not more,
Wow.
which is really, I think it's really beautiful. I mean, that's why I started the business. It's like to help clean up the environment, but also help to provide employment for people who are super marginalized, who are working informally in places like Myanmar, which makes up, I mean, 2/3 of the world does not have formal waste collection.
Mm.
A third of the world is they're illegally dumping, they're burning their plastic, they're throwing it into the rivers, they're burying it onto their lands, right? So because the infrastructure just doesn't exist. And
Mm.
actually, a story to kind of highlight that, like, these are not news stories. These are like, this is daily life. This is real. That's happening every single day. But
Mm.
we, well, so in Uganda, for example, this is like my first experience of what waste management is like. I was living in a more rural area in western Uganda, and I
Right.
lived in this beautiful house that had countless flowers in the garden. I had a gazebo. It was like fruit trees. It was just like very idyllic. And I was trying to find where the garbage went because I had somebody at the house help me with that. And I asked her one day, her name is Margaret. I was like, Margaret, just in case you're not here one day, and I want to manage my own trash. Like, can you please show me where do you take it? Does somebody come and pick it up every week? She's like, oh yeah, come here. So we went outside into the beautiful garden, and we walk over to
Oh
the edge of the
no.
property, and there's like literally a pit dug with all the things that I had just thrown away the week before, including I had done like a huge sweep of the house. There was like a lamp that the wire had snapped. So, and because I had just come from the US, which is where I'm from, I didn't have the mentality of we can repair this. I just thought, oh, it's broken, so I'm just going to throw it away. And it's just like, I mean, it's just going to be there forever. I'm pretty sure it's still there.
Right.
Yeah, so that's one example. But like even in Yangon, I was living in one of the most expensive neighborhoods there, and we have formal waste collection in that neighborhood. People can afford to have somebody pick it up, but you would be enjoying the day and suddenly see like billows of smoke or just smell something like horribly acrid and be like, oh yeah, someone's just set a pile of like leaves and
Trash.
trash on fire. Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
it's
it seems like yours is, I think, much more acute that you're able to see these things. But I think it seems like we're kind of venturing towards that in the West. So like there is, I'm in Barcelona. There's plenty of trash collection. They do it at times that people should be sleeping. But like all the trash is collected. It's very efficient. But if nothing is getting recycled enough, like that trash is just being put out of our purview.
Yeah.
They'll burn it somewhere. They're putting it in a pit. They're putting it in a landfill, which is a gigantic pit. Mm-hmm. So like all we're doing is just taking it away from our site until it becomes everywhere around us, and then we have to start piling it in our homes. Like, this is the real issue, and unfortunately, it always comes back to there's too many of us humans on the planet. Unfortunately, like that seems to be like the common denominator for all these climate issues, and plastic seems like to be number one with a bullet of proof that like there's just too many silly humans on this planet.